thing off. Alan, are you on the line?
I am. Hello, everyone.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. So, Alan, let's start. Like, what are we trying to do here today? Give us why did we want to cover things, and what are we covering exactly?
Well, it's the new year, and we want to kind of go over some new, exciting marketing trends and innovations that other websites have done. A lot of these are ideas we could kind of emulate and actually put on your website. We're actually testing some of these things on ourselves and on our clients. So I think it's really good to kind of convey some of the trends that we think are going to help in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, don't you sometimes you're just sitting and you see something really cool online. You're like, God, I'd like to share that with somebody. I'm just looking at it by myself. I'd like to deduct it and kind of go through that with a group of peers. So that's kind of what we're looking to do today, and
Sure.
really well said. So if you guys don't know who I am, I'm John Lincoln. I'm CEO here at Ignite Visibility. We've been running the company for about 6 years now. We're up to about 70 people or so who work here and about 150 clients, and just having a lot of fun staying true to our mission to really just deliver best-in-class services and to reinvest in client success, employee success, and the community. And still working with two great pro bono clients, Reality Changers and Pedal the Cause, which are two great organizations you should check out. In addition to that, I also have Alan Bush with me here. Alan, would you like to say hi and introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Alan Bush. I'm the VP of Strategy here at Ignite Visibility. I've been in the industry for about 12 years, and I've been with Ignite for about over 4 years. And I'm the head of the SEO department, but I generally help everybody in the company. I also teach a course on SEO at UCSD. We're actually in the process of, I think, the fourth week right now on the online version of it. And next semester, just not to give a plug, but there'll be a in-person and online version. Both will be available. So if anyone's interested, go ahead and sign up or hit me up on an email and I'll get you started.
Plug away. It's a great class, and Alan does a fantastic job, so definitely
Thanks,
check
sir.
that out. So today, we're going to look at some of the coolest things online. This is going to be interactive. We're going to rate them together on a scale of 1 to 5, okay? So you actually get to participate, and at the end, we're going to see what the coolest thing was. So if you look in the chat feature, you're going to see a link to a Google form. And that Google form is something you can click on. You can rate 1 to 5, the items 1 through 10. We're going to go through 10 items, and we got some really cool bonus stuff at the end. The bonus stuff at the end, I think, actually might blow you away. I've been doing all these demos with new innovative companies. I've got this new thing today called a wrap. 99% of people have not seen this. It's kind of like this cool new innovative thing for mobile. I can't wait to show you that. So it's going to be fun. But anyway, so we're going to kind of rate these things, and I just think keep in your mind, like, how can I use this for my own business? How can I apply this? Is this actually something that's innovative and will work, or is this something we shouldn't do? There's a lot of testing that's being happening right now. And ask questions, leave some comments. We want this to be interactive. It'll be about 30 to 40 minutes, I think. And you got the link to vote there, but you also have it in the chat. So let's dive into it. So number 1, Nike. An amazing retail brand. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the cool new things that Nike is doing that we noticed. So the first thing is this wish list icon. Wish list icon right next to the cart right there. It's the same color as the button. It's a UX feature. Alan, how do you feel about that?
It's really great because it puts it right in front of you. So it's a lot easier to add things to a cart if you're not ready to buy it. You could put this on your list for the future. And it kind of keeps you locked into the website coming back. So it's, hey, I really want to come get this later. And it's a really good call to action. A simple heart, simple icon. It's very recognizable. And I think one of the things, though, you got to understand what this means, the heart. I love it, basically, I guess is what they're trying to imply here. So, yeah, I found that kind of interesting.
Let me ask this to the community. Do you guys feel like you know that that's a wish list and you know what to do with that? And also, what do you think the click-through rate is on something like that? So if you've got a click-through rate of 30% on the page, what would be the click-through rate on that wish list? These are things to think about. But I'd love anybody in the chat to tell me, do you think that that's something that actually looks like a wish list icon? Next thing we have today, this is really interesting. So doing a search, and think about this for all you e-commerce sites. We're looking at Nike again here. Do a search for shoes on Nike. What happens? The navigation busts open. It shows you the top suggestions, and it also shows you the top categories all in the nav right there. This is a company that probably spends a good amount of money just on their search feature. I've worked with companies that spend tens to 20, thousands of dollars a month just working on search because they have so many visitors. Alan, when you see that feature, what goes through your head?
This is really great because it's such a visual component, and when you're looking for shoes, a lot of times that's the first thing you think about. How do they look on you? And so what this is demonstrating is A, here's the top categories that you can see, but B, here's what they look like. And I think this will really improve the way the search functions work in general. Navigation and search is starting to kind of merge into one. And I really encourage people that sell like jewelry or clothing to adopt this, because I believe could help your client base find exactly what they're looking for.
I think it allows them to highlight inventory really quickly, which is great. And that's something that's going to be a theme in this webinar today. How do you get the most exposure for your top inventory? And then also, Nike's doing international optimization. So international optimization is something that we do a lot of here, and that's the ability to launch in different countries and launch in different languages and get ranked in different versions of Google, right? There's google.co.uk, there's Google ES, there's Google IN, there's Google CA. There's all these different versions of Google, so you need to create different sections of your website for it. So Alan, when we look at this international optimization, and you've seen a lot of them, do you see that this is being fully built out? Any issues with it? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so and John's right. We do a lot of international optimization here, and I worked on a few of these clients myself. What we did notice is they don't have the hreflang tags, which are important for international optimization. If you actually go to play.google.com, you can see examples of this in their code. They have for almost every language you could think of, and it doesn't seem that Nike's doing this. Now, there are other methods of taking care of that, and that's usually through the sitemaps. And although I did look at the sitemaps, some of the sitemaps weren't available for me to view. So I'm wondering if they're just hiding the code and they actually do have this taken care of. But on first glance, it looks like they would need help. Maybe we should call them up and ask them and see if they need some SEO help.
We should. Nike actually was a prospect at one point here.
That's right.
I guess they're still a prospect. We will see if they circle back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so generally they've got some really cool, very innovative things going on with UX. They've got some international optimization that's very notable. We're not sure if the hreflang tags are set up properly. That is Nike. Please vote on Nike's innovation right now. Go to the Google form, click on it, give them a rating on a scale of 1 to 5. And let's keep moving, and let's jump into these other 9 really cool items that we have today. So the next one is Revzilla. So Revzilla, if you guys don't know, I've worked in motocross and motorcycles and bike parts and cars and a lot of retail stuff like that online. They are pretty darn good. I would give them a shout out. They've done some really innovative things, so it's always a good website to look at. But just starting out with the basics, they've got something you don't see a lot of other e-commerce sites have. Alan, talk to us a little bit about what we noticed.
Well, we noticed that the actual number of inventory is actually listed right in the header. I think that's a really good call to action, kind of telling you what's going on, how many items you should be looking at, and what's available to you. And also, I believe search engines like this as well. If you add more inventory, it'll update the page, and therefore it just pretty much adds fresh content right away and right in the header. And as we look at schema and those other items that the search engines start pulling, they start pulling data like this. And the more interactive you could be with your audience, the more you can reveal. I believe it's for the better.
And this is numbers or data, right? The amount of products in a category, that's a piece of data. You can use that piece of data in an H1 here to differentiate and show the user how many things you have. You can use that in your title of the page, your description, and we're going to get more into that later when we look at another site who's doing even more with that number. So I'm pretty excited about that. But that's Revzilla, and then in addition to that, they've done some interesting things with their category level optimization. I'll start out and cover the first couple. So one of the things we saw is they're calling out the sale items. So the sale items, they put a little icon on the top so that the user can see that that is a sale. They've also called out the new items. Now the reason that I like this is because this plays into supply chain management, right? This plays into inventory management, and this plays into margins in the business model. digital, and e-commerce is more about marketing, right? You've got to work with the business. So if they want to move more of the Forma Predator 2.0 boots, if they throw that little sale at the top of the category, they're differentiating that, they're getting higher click-through rates, and as a result, they're selling more. But there's more going on in this category level optimization. What else do we notice, Alan?
Yeah, I really like what you just pointed out there because they want to liquidate some items of goods that call out, gets rid of the things that they don't want there, and also the ones that have better margins. But they've also done their SEO due diligence and put their content on there. They have basically 24 products on there, so basically you have a lot of product names, things that really say boots and have that keyword language in there. And then they've also added the SEO content to talk about what the boots are all about. And so this is really good for their optimization, and I think people that are in this industry and have e-commerce should probably follow suit.
Whoops. Let's give a vote for Revzilla. What do you think? On a scale of 1 to 5, compared to Nike, how good did Revzilla do? Next thing, we are Revzilla is number 2. Yeah, thank you for that. Now we're into number 3. And this one, by the way, guys, this is like fun. Like nobody's going to get like an Academy Award or anything for this stuff. We just made all this up, right? We're just trying to have a fun way to look at content and innovative stuff online. So don't worry about voting for the wrong thing. We're just pulling in stuff together and looking at it. But this next one is, they're a local company here in San Diego. We're in San Diego. And while doing some competitive analysis and thinking about some of our things that we do here, we have this Ignite 3.0 operating system, which is how we do what we do here, right? It helps with a lot of different things, bringing clarity to the company and whatnot. We noticed that San Diego County Credit Union was doing something really interesting at the bottom of their pages, and this might have some implications on how they rank. So, Alan, you love this type of project. Talk to us a little bit about this one.
Yeah, for sure. And it really does. Adding FAQs is something that we have actually adopted here at Ignite, and we encourage people to do that. And the reason why is because it adds content for one, but also addresses pain points that people have. And it's interesting. One of my favorite tools is a segue to this called Answer the Public, and you can get a lot of frequently asked questions from this tool. They have a creepy guy that talks about that looks at you waiting for you to make a query, but once you do, you get a lot of great questions that people commonly ask online, and I think you could use that as a base for your FAQs. Also, FAQs are generally good for voice search. If you actually think about how you interact with your phone and what people use when they usually do queries, right? They ask questions when they want to know something on the fly. So this will help that be found in the voice search, things like Alexa, right? Again, it makes the page rank, of course, because more content, the pain points, as I mentioned before. You could also be found in the knowledge graph, and if you've seen Google searches as of late, either your query will come up with a big knowledge graph at the top, or a series of questions that are being answered, commonly asked, that open up new web pages. And it really helps to get in there because A, it gets your eyeballs on your website, and then B, if people are more interested in that content, they'll click on it. So the click-through rates are, if you rank, you get that aspect of it, and the click-through rates will really help and encourage people to go to your website to be a founder there. So this also really establishes you as an industry leader if you're able to address people's pain points and address questions before they even ask them. So yeah, I really encourage people to kind of get in the habit of adding these to the site. A lot of people do, but I still think it's underutilized or underestimated.
Yeah, really well said. I mean, when we added this to the bottom of a client's page, we saw large jumps in rankings and then a 10% increase in conversion rates because you're answering all the questions on the page. It's a no-brainer, right? And then as Alan mentioned for voice search, I mean, it makes it so you pull out those rich snippets that shows up in the Google Assistant, right? And all that. By the way, I'm doing a presentation on voice search in San Francisco next week. I can't wait to share all that good stuff with you guys as well. Been diving into it quite a bit. So vote on San Diego County Credit Union and click on the Google form right there and give them a star for their innovation. And now we're into the next one, Mailchimp. This is kind of a fun one. So I think a lot of people are like, oh, John's a technical SEO guy, but I mean, I'm digital marketing through and through, and little stuff like this, like I just absolutely love it. Prepare for launch, right? We've got this icon right there. And when I see this, what I think is, how can I use this for all of our clients? How can I use this for ourselves, right? This little icon is a way to basically show somebody what they need to do before they do it. So how can you use imagery next to your calls to action so that you can make it so people take advantage of those calls to action? So a lot of times what you'll see is a person who's looking at the call to action, like they'll have their eyes kind of pointing over that way. Mailchimp, they've got a monkey with his finger on top of the button right there, so he's about to push it. And it just shows you, kind of this micro interaction CTA hint, right? And so I just love that UX feature. It's simple. I'm sending these emails out all the time, and I think it's something that we can leverage for other things. So we could keep that one short, but go ahead and vote on Mailchimp. You think they've done a good job with that innovation? Give them a rating. So now we're to number 5, Lowe's. And Lowe's is a big company, and they've invested in a lot of different things, and they've got some stuff that I feel like they put some time into, and that's very important for their own brand and their own customer. So let's take a look at this. So Alan, maybe walk us through a few of these, and I'll chime in on some of the others.
Yeah, I like the aspect that they have different types of calculators because they're such a broad store, and I think they kind of outdo some of their competitors by adding calculators specific to certain items that you may need. I've seen a lot of companies, like mortgage companies, utilize this feature, but there's usually just one calculator that kind of checks whether or not you can afford a certain type of loan. But they've done it for flooring and for blow-in valves and roll installations and all these different things. So it's like a calculator dedicated to each part of their store. And I really like that aspect of it. Also, they added how-to sections for people that are, that's their demographic, right? If you think about who goes to Lowe's, it's a lot of do-it-yourselfers, a lot of people who want to fix up their home, fix up their house, do something really cool for the season upcoming for, Valentine's Day or the holidays or whatever it is. And so they've added that feature within there. I really think that they're probably doing really well in the organic market by providing this value to their customer base and people sharing that information, saying, hey, buddy, I know you had a roll installation thing, what project you're working on. Lowe's has a calculator that can help you identify some of that stuff. And so almost educating the client and letting them help themselves will bring more customers to their store. So really great work on their part.
Yeah, when I see this, I see calculator, but I see more of a concept. I see a micro funnel. And I think that every business, as it matures, should be looking at micro funnels. So quizzes, calculators, things that get people more information and then pre-qualify them and then push them down a process where they can eventually convert. So after they take after they use the flooring calculator as a next step, they're presented with the option to get flooring, right? They might be presented with a video that shows how Lowe's is the best choice for flooring so that people watch that and then eventually want to use them. So think about online now as more funnels, and what are those micro funnels that can eventually lead to macro conversions. And we're going to show you a really cool tool at the end of this that's going to show you the drop-off rate from start to finish of funnels on your website that I think is super powerful. We've been using it for our clients here. So vote on Lowe's. How do you think Lowe's did with those innovations? Go ahead and give it a vote. Click on that Google form, and at the end, we will know how they fared. Next thing, TripAdvisor. Okay, so now we've got kind of a geeky SEO one, but one that is incredibly powerful, and a concept that I hope if you learn anything today, you're going to learn about something called dynamic optimization. So when you work on really big websites with hundreds of thousands or millions of pages, you need to optimize things dynamically. And this is hard for people to wrap their head around sometimes, but basically using a set of rules, you can optimize things like the title, description, H1, H2, URL structure. You don't have to do it all one by one. So what you're looking at here is TripAdvisor, right? And TripAdvisor is the #1 ranked for terms like best hotels or hotels near me with this particular title. So when you look at this title, what do you see? Well, it's different than the rest. You've got things that are in capitals. You've got a number, 10 best. You've got the year, 2019. You've got the price, right? And so year is something that can be inserted dynamically. Location, San Diego, is something that's inserted dynamically. Price is something that's inserted dynamically from the bottom line price. And then they're testing capitalization. And when you work with a large site like this, it's really important to be testing category and category optimization. And this is something that they've done, something that we do here. But what if you change that out for top hotels or 9 best or 34 best, or you change that price from 55 to 49.99, right? Or 2019 if you had left it 2018, or going through 2021, right? Or you change the term hotels to something else, right? Accommodations. Testing these things in your titles so that you can improve click-through rates makes a huge, huge difference. And you can also do the same thing with other elements on the page. So this is TripAdvisor. This is an enterprise site. These are the type of things you need to think about, and that's one reason why they're winning. And Alan, when you look at them versus the other elements on the page, I mean, it's pretty clear why they're doing better. Don't you think that has a higher propensity for click-through rates?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things that draws your eyes. If you think about all the ones on there, they have some variations of what TripAdvisor has done, but the combination of having the capitals, the numbers involved, the year involved, and the price, I think they're the only one that has all three of those elements in there, if you think about it. And so even though and also, the language of cheap versus best. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather go to the
Yep.
best, and the price is there. It's still in the realm of what we consider cheap. But the language is
Yep.
saying something that's better. It's not, cheap sounds like I don't want to stay. There's going to be cockroaches or something in there. So I think it's better.
Yeah.
Like, they've done the right thing with the calls to action, and it's probably evident why they're ranking #1 right now.
I mean, look at it. I mean, if you go through this one by one, it's 16 best hotels in San Diego, hotels from 39 a night. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Hotels, closest hotels to Balboa Park. That's interesting. Hotels.com has quite a few listings. By the way, if you ever see like quite a few listings in one, sometimes those kind of cannibalize the ability to rank #1. So if you see all those different hotels.com listings, Google's having a hard time figuring out which page to rank and which one to rank #1. So they've got a lot of different pages. There's a lot of different ways to deal with that. In most cases, what somebody will do is they'll put a rel canonical, which is something that tells Google, rank this page instead of this page from all the suburbs to the top page, so that you don't have too much thin content. So they got a little bit of that going on there, but also a lot of real estate. But really though, they've TripAdvisor, great title. Let's move on. Go ahead and give it a vote. If you like what they did there with that title, if it was incredibly innovative, give them some good stars. Now we're getting into Leadpages. So Leadpages has done some innovation. And we're not talking about the product here, Leadpages. We're talking about what they're doing on their website for marketing. Let's take a look at it. Leadpages, #7. So this is kind of interesting. Alan, we talked about this earlier today. Like, what do you think about this concept?
Yeah, so this is really, you showed me this one actually, and I was really curious of how this one works. Basically, it notifies when there's purchases being made. It's basically user proof. I've seen similar technologies, and it wasn't as apparent as this one, where it's like shop locally or something similar to that, where you would get, the user would get a notification after you make a purchase to be able to share whether or not you bought a product. But in this case, they're telling how many people are seeing it. I know things like Expedia do that, where you're trying to rent a room and they say, hey, there's 5 people viewing this right now. So it kind of gives a sense of urgency, and also, lets you know what's going on or how popular certain items are in this case. So I do think it really draws your attention, and it could lead to even more sales in the future. So this is really clever.
Scarcity, everybody. Really well said, Alan. Scarcity, right? That's a concept that all humans feel, right? So on Expedia and these other sites, what they do is they say 100 people are viewing this page right now. Only 2 are left. Only 1's left, and so on and so forth. If there's not enough inventory, people want to jump in and they want to buy, especially in the travel space. In addition to that, there's this other element of social proof. So a savvy marketer from the United States just bought Leadpages monthly pro subscription, right? That feels a little bit targeted towards me in some ways, and other people who are probably a lot like me, right? Like Alan. So what this does is it tells who's bought, right, recently, and gives a notification. So there's social proof. In addition to that, there's this other element that creates scarcity. So, if I said on Ignite Visibility, we're only signing up, another 4 people this month, and 3 people have already signed up, which is kind of the case, people are going to probably want to jump in, or there's going to be, more types of, scarcity and calls to action. So that's Leadpages. And if you'd like to vote for them, go ahead and do that in the Google form. And we just have a couple more, and then we're going to do a rapid fire on the innovation stuff. Next one, Wikipedia. Wikipedia, number 8, we are going to vote for them. So Wikipedia is the #1 SEO site in the world. And why is that the case, Alan? What are they doing right from a search engine optimization perspective?
They crush it because essentially they have all their SEO elements right. If they have the code optimized, it's very easy to read for search engines. They update their content. One of the things you're pointing out here is really update their content so frequently, and they have user interaction. So people and internal links. I mean, there's so many things right with Wikipedia, and basically they're like an SEO dream come true. If I would have ever given an analogy to perfect SEO, I would generally use Wikipedia as that analogy, only because, they're super popular as it is, of course, the amount of links that go to them, but just the structure of their website, the amount of information they provide, it's like a search engine's dream come true to digest that information. So, and in this case here, you can see how frequently this thing gets updated. And this is just Abraham Lincoln, which is a historical figure, but it gets updated still constantly. We're still making changes and alterations to finding new facts out or adding new information.
Always improve. Well said. Always improving, always updating, great internal linking, sourcing all their information, credibility, building themselves up as a brand that other people want to link to. Wikipedia is doing an amazing job. They are literally the #1 SEO site online. So says SEMrush and others. And that's that. So go ahead and give them a vote if you like what Wikipedia is doing. Also, in addition to that, think of that concept for your business. What is Wikipedia doing? They're curating content on a continual basis, updating it for their most important pages. If you can do that, you're going to rank really well also. Hint, hint. All right, so now we're jumping into Marketo, and then we've got one more after this. By the way, number 10 is my favorite, so you're going to want to check that out. But let's take a look at what Marketo is doing here. So Alan, talk to us a little bit about this chatbot. Chatbots are a big deal right now. I've had so many people in here giving us presentations on chatbots. I want to talk about this one a little bit too, but just break it down for us.
Yeah, so basically, you've probably seen this on websites where you jump on the website and then a little, what they call a little chat bot comes up and wants to start a discussion with you, and it open up questions in case you had questions you want to talk about right away. Marketo is actually personalize it, so it tailors to the page that you're on. And in this case, we went through and did the See Marketo in Action page, and when you click on it, it says skip the form, start the process, and book your personalized demo right now. And then it even gives you answers to whatever you have there. So I did it on a couple different pages, and actually it was slightly different format, slightly different verbiage, and slightly different answers that were given from the chatbot right away, right off the bat. So you're already having a conversation just by simply opening that. And then in this case, you just don't want to reply right now. You just click a button. Or you say, yeah, let's book the demo right away. You click a button. You barely even have to type. So think about how it might work if you're on your phone. You don't type very well on your phone. So if this chatbot works, you can just start pressing buttons, and it makes it a lot easier for the user experience.
So specifically, think of a chatbot as a funnel, and what are the most common questions and way that you can funnel them down further in the process. And I believe they use Drip here for this one. To create this chatbot. And, are you qualifying them as a customer, or are you qualifying them from an information perspective? Like, do they need information, or do they want to become a customer? That's step one. If they want information, pushing them down into information funnels. If they want to be a customer, pushing them down into customer qualification funnels. And are they going to be making a purchase right in the chatbot? There's a lot of services that allow you to do that now. And then also, how are you creating a seamless chatbot experience from Facebook, from your website? Google My Business is now going to allow you to start having a chatbot feature inside of there. And now there's programs coming out that integrate with all of these, right? So what's your chatbot strategy? And here's what I would say. Do not do this unless you're a big company. Do not do this unless you just have a ton of people asking you questions all the time, because otherwise you're not really ready for it. But if you're a big retail company, big in entertainment, And I've actually gotten this advice just from my own personal perspective, but then also a lot of the chatbot companies have told me this during demos. It's kind of cricket's not worth the investment if you're really small. You're just not there yet. So go ahead and vote on Marketo's chatbot experience. How well did they do on a scale of 1 to 5? How great is that innovation? And now we're going into the last one, which is cool, but I don't want to sway anybody to say by saying it's the coolest, but it is cool. So now we're getting to expert secrets. So expert secrets is a little different. It's a marketing campaign, okay, done by ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson. And ClickFunnels is a service that basically allows you to build landing pages and build funnels associated with it. So what I love about this is, look at this landing page, okay? Look at this landing page and think about this landing page from a lead gen perspective compared to your landing page for a lead gen perspective. Maybe yours is better. I don't know. I'm not looking at your landing page right now, but I am looking at this one. And I can tell you they put a lot of time into that copy for the title, and they put a lot of time into this video that they've created, and they're getting people in with a free book, which you have to pay for shipping, and then that gets you into a funnel where basically they try to upsell you to using ClickFunnels and building a course on there so that you can be an expert and sell your knowledge to other people. In addition to that, they've done a very good job with the paid media side on this. So they are retargeting about 15 to 20 different ads to anybody who's come to this page in a sequence. And I just want everybody to know that's a really important thing in retail right now. We're seeing more and more. If somebody watches 60% of this video, over 90 days, we're hitting them with 30 different pieces of creative every other day and seeing that conversion rate go from 1% to 2% to 4% to 5%. So using that remarketing audience. And that's something we're working on at Ignite right now for a lot of clients, is taking it to that next level. But ClickFunnels, this in particular, and a lot of respect for this guy, he's very good, has done a great marketing campaign here in Allen. Anything you want to chime in on that one?
Yeah, I really love this because everything's above the fold. There's a lot of questions that are saying certain things, a lot of great calls to action. They got a video provided. And like you said, they probably did a lot of effort in trying to figure out the best way to write even the copy. The first thing starts off with a sentence, and then it's like, get your free copy, and then find your message, build a tribe, change the world, all this great language that makes people want to go, well, what's this all about? It adds a sense of like almost mystery, but like you'd be part of a great organization if you join. And then on a purely just aesthetic note, everything's above the fold, basically. I don't really have to scroll down to see anything. And I think that's an important aspect of especially building landing pages. You don't want the user to have to do too much. Just fill out the form, press a button, and you're ready to go. So they're doing a great job here at ClickFunnels.
If you do an audit on your website right now, and I just got off a call before this with a client, if you do an audit and you go through every single page and you make sure that there's a button above the fold on mobile, a button above the fold, a little text and a call to action on mobile for every page, you are going to see an increase in conversion rate between 20 and 70%. That is totally true, and there's studies that show that. The study says 55%, but it's different for every business. If you look at this same one on mobile, they've got a button above the fold. They're using Proof, the thing that we just showed you a moment ago that says how great it is and how many people bought it. They've got a great creative video that kind of gets people into this mindset of movement marketing. And that's another thing that they do well, is movement marketing, right? So kind of getting people feeling like they're around something. And we kind of feel like that a little bit here at Ignite. Like we're for better marketing, right? Taking it up a level, doing better marketing, innovating every single day. Like that's why we're here today. We want you to join us in that movement in a way. But they've done very, very, very good work. So that's ClickFunnels. Go ahead and vote on that. And then now we're going to get into these last couple bonus items. One, which is something that I literally hated at first, and now I can't stop thinking about it. I really, really like it. So let's jump into that. But now just finish up your vote, click on the Google form, and we'll be saying the winners at the end of this. So let's get into the bonus items. So bonus items. Okay, so the first one is this one that I've been talking about a bunch. It's this concept called wrap. Okay, so what is a wrap? Well, a wrap is just this right here. If you click through it, it is a interactive You can put forms in it. You can put buttons in it. It's like a brochure that you can send to people on mobile. And at first I was like, this thing, I'm not really that excited about it, right? Technology is hard to impress me. The more that I thought about it, and the more that I thought about how we could use this for clients to display retail products, how we could use this to, we've got 150 clients in a lot of different industries. What's the main thing you want to show to showcase your business? So this is a wrap. It looks beautiful on mobile. It's like a little mini mobile microsite with full abilities for forms, videos, animations, and it's new. It's brand new. Not many people are using it yet except for the big guys, and you heard about it first from Ignite Visibility because I got a demo last week. So that's wrap. And Alan, what did you think when you saw Wrap for the first time? Like, you were more excited than I was. But
I think I was. Yeah, you showed it to me. I mean, I think after you got your initial excitement, you showed it to me afterwards, and I was like immediately impressed with it because the implications of what you could do with it. I mean, the interaction right there, like you said, it's like a microsite, and it's mobile friendly, which is the big innovation, obviously, with the tech and SEO now is you got to be mobile friendly. And if you're not, or if you don't have your ducks in a row, this might be a really great answer for you to get the messaging out there. And I think that it's just really, I don't know, I'm interested to see where this goes because I don't know how it's really good for your marketing. I don't know how you could distribute it. Maybe you could put it part of your email campaigns. You could put it in your newsletters. There's so many things you could do, and then it's like sending a package to somebody, saying, "Hey, here's what I got. Check it out. If you like it, come visit my website." But I really enjoyed this, and I think it'd be really great for certain clients.
Nailed it. Yeah. We'll have to see where it goes. In the demo, I did see they have full analytics also, which is pretty crazy. So they'll show you exactly what location somebody interacted from, what they clicked on within each slide. You can get a bunch of great stuff. They've got this great map that shows you, where people are interacting with it, and then you can advertise it through all the normal mediums. So that's Wrap. Took me a minute to wrap my head around it, but now I have wrapped my head around it, and
Pun
those
intended.
are my two wrap puns for you, pun intended. Last couple ones we got here today. We have two more, I think, and we've got Hotjar. So Hotjar, Alan, talk to us about Hotjar.
Yeah, Hotjar is a great what we call heat mapping tool. It basically tells you how people, not only where people are coming into, but what they're doing on those pages. And it's important to understand the interactions. I mean, Google Analytics has to some degree, but I don't think they have it compared to Hotjar. And I've seen some really great software. Hotjar is probably the best, and it's also free for a certain amount of sessions. So for people that want to just test it out, you could go ahead and do that. And it basically tells you how people are interacting with the pages, where they're dropping off. In this case, we're seeing the drop-off points all the way up to from the dashboard, from the home page to the registration page, and then the dashboard. So basically, this is where you're converting. Everybody who made it past registration and got to the dashboard is your conversion. And then you can see, well, 58% of the people dropped off the home page. Well, why is that? So you got to figure out where your calls to action are. Maybe you can make some decisions about where you need to place your buttons, or your pricing model's different. And then you see 44% dropping off the pricing after the 58% drop off the home page. All right, well, maybe something wrong with the pricing. Maybe we could adjust those things. Maybe we could see, we could highlight the middle range and make 3 choices rather than the 1. And then again, you can see the registration. Maybe there's a problem with the form, or the form is way too long on mobile. Those are decisions you have to make. I've seen a lot of clients that have a lot of information that they need from their prospective clients, and their mobile form is just way too long. So people just don't have all day to fill out a form, so they just go home and forget about it. So maybe you make it easier mobile form where someone can contact you later, and then maybe that will help improve your conversion. So Hotjar will give you some great insights as to how the users are interacting with your website, so you can make these decisions.
Well said. The price for traffic will only continue to go up. The people who are going to win are the people who can convert that traffic at the lowest rate, right? The people who have the best conversion process, the service that people want the most, it's the least expensive for them to acquire customers. That's who's going to win. And Hotjar allows you to do this with this funnel. There's also the funnel report inside of Google Analytics, which is good, but I like this one. It's clean. The one in Analytics, it allows you to slice and dice by traffic source, anything you can think of, location, landing page, stuff like that. So, but this is good and simple, which is great. Okay, so I have 2 more, and then the last one is something that I just found today. It's just brand new today. It's brand new, it's spanking new, and it's going to affect a lot of people. But this one is just an industry study. So we did an industry study where 300 marketers revealed a disruptive shift in the digital advertising landscape and how much they're going to be putting into marketing dollars in each additional channels. And we wanted to bring this up because, one, we want you to check out the study, but two, because we think that studies are something that all businesses should be doing every 3 to 6 months because it allows you to manufacture press. So think about how can you do a study for your own business, and if you want help doing it, we're happy to help you do it. If not, execute it yourself because we highly recommend it. And then the last thing today. So this is really interesting. We found this feature inside of Google today on a mobile phone. So if you click Start Story, you are going to see a story that has been created about this particular person, and there's other celebrities that have it as well. This is Tony Robbins, and if you click it, it's going to show you a story about his life story. Now, what's really important about this is if you end up getting one of these for your business, and almost every business has a knowledge panel, right? That's what this is. Not all of them have this because not all of them have are as incredible as this human being is, in my opinion. But if you claim this knowledge panel, then you will be able to modify that and do all that great stuff, okay? So that's really interesting, new kind of bonus thing we just saw today. And if you want to see what it looks like, I think that this is really important. So I'll show you real quickly what it looks like if you play this on a mobile phone. So it looks something like this. It will flip through and tell you a story of this person. And this is a feature that is inside of Google that could end up popping up around every single person's brand. So that's that. So get all your votes in right now. Last call for votes. And now's a good time. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and get those questions lined up. Put it in the chat. I think it'd be fun just to have a little conversation about some of these things. So go ahead and do that. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and look at who the winners were. And a ton of people voted, so thank you very much for doing that. And we have our first question coming in. Alan, why don't you take this one? The question is, Wraps new, but what's the best way to use it for a business?
For the Wraps program, it's new, so it's really hard to see the implications though. But that being said, it really draws the eye, and I think that you could use it for email marketing. You could use it as included in your newsletter when people want to know certain things about what you do. And then I'm wondering, I don't know how this works, but if there's a way, is it possible to text people that URL? So if you do SMS, which some people are still doing, you can use it in that, send the URL, and then all of a sudden now you have such a rich visual experience that's on their mobile that they can click on, and it's through text. So there's so many ways that you could kind of take this and run with it, because you got to think about the audience it's geared towards. It's towards the mobile market, and the people that are your calls to action. For example, when I mentioned that that the funnel that people were going down were leaving, you maybe provide that as an incentive for them to take that with them. So yeah, there's a lot of ways that could be done. I'm trying to wrap my head around all the ways that could be done, and then try to figure out, okay, let's see, give it a test with Ignite, or get a test with some of our clients that have products, and see how much it performs, what it does for us. But I do think it's a great experience. So I think that to capture the people, that I would use it in a variety of different channels.
Agree. And text right now, everybody, has the highest open rate out of all these other delivery platforms. So that's a really good point, Alan, is that using text would be really, really good for this. Next question is, how do you code dynamic optimization into a website? So that's kind of a tricky one. Thank you for asking that. What I would say is on WordPress, it can be done through the Yoast plugin. So you just go inside Yoast, the rules are already set up. You can put in the dynamic optimization for titles and descriptions just right in there. It's real easy. If you're working on a bigger site, it kind of depends the framework. But if it's a PHP site, you would build that in PHP and you would have it either be custom, or if it's like a CMS like Magento works like WordPress, where you've got an option just to put in or work with the rules that they have there. And then it's also a little bit different if you're like on a Ruby on Rails side or ASP.NET. I think the big point is it's dependent on the type of platform your website's built on. Would you say that's correct, Alan? Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly how it is, and PHP makes it a little easier. It's database-driven websites. It makes it a lot easier to code that in there. I can't really tell you the exact coding, but what it normally does is it grabs elements from your header or your title tag or whatever it is, and then that once those shift and change, they shift all the other elements in there, and then you can individually cater to certain things. But yeah, if you're really having troubles with that, we have plenty of developers that can help out and address that. So if you have any major questions about the actual coding, I don't claim to be a coder, but I do know how it works. And when we do actually in-house, what we do is develop a dynamic optimization keyword strategy. So we basically give you categories and then you rotate them out based around what we're doing there. So it makes it a lot easier to give a blueprint to how to optimize it. And once we do that, then we hand it off to the development team.
Awesome. Okay, we've got a whole bunch of other comments in here. Thank you guys so much for jumping in and commenting. I appreciate it. Funnel Scripts is a service that works in tandems with ClickFunnels that helps you write dynamic lead generation copy, and seems really cool. So thanks for shouting that out. Really appreciate that. We also have a question. Do you have a URL example that we can send around for the wrap? I do. The URL is inside of here. This is actually what it is, but we can probably, that will be in the presentation that is emailed out later, but you can also, I could tweet that out probably. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, hey, I'll get another Twitter follower out of it too, so that'd be great. And then let's see, how important is the FAQ page? Is a link in the footer enough? So that's kind of interesting. Alan, talk about like the difference between the FAQ page and then the FAQs at the bottom of the page. Like I have some initial thoughts on it. Like the FAQ page really helps with conversion rates, especially in a longer sales cycle type of business. But if you put it at the bottom of the page, that's also very good, but it needs to relate specifically to that product or service that page is about. So that's the difference, right?
Yeah, that's how I view it as well. I think with the FAQs on the page itself, or at least a few of them, you don't need to cram them all in there. I mean, the San Diego Credit Union did a good job by cramming a lot in there. So they pretty much everything that's related to that topic. But I do think if you add your major ones to maybe the top 5 or top 10, you'll get a lot of benefit from that. And if you're thinking about it, it kind of tells the story, right? It gives you're getting the content above you, and then once you read that content, you might have some questions about the content. So they already provided you the questions that you might ask, and it's right on the same page rather than going to a new page. So I think for optimization purposes and for on some level CRO, the content provided on an FAQ on the page itself tells the story a little bit better, and then that way you're not leaving there, and then they make their decisions.
Thank you. Okay, another question came out, which is a really, really good one. How is WRAP different than a responsive landing page or responsively designed email? Feels like we're missing something. Like, what is it that makes it different? So that's how I felt initially too. Initially when I saw it, I was kind of like, again, not easily impressed. After I saw all the different usages of it, I think here's the fundamental difference. It's flippable with your thumb or your finger on a mobile phone seamlessly, and you can do 80-90% of the same stuff with like other landing page builders and stuff like that. And I'm familiar with like them all, right? But this one, it's really seamless as far as flipping from side to side. It's like an online magazine, and then flipping up. And then also the analytics are like I haven't seen. So the back-end analytics show you who clicked on what by location, and they extrapolate all this other really interesting data. So I would say like 10-20% of the features in WRAP are new, but the concept is interesting because it's a standalone link that you can send out that's fully trackable. And I would think of it as like almost like an online coupon or brochure that can be filtered out all around the web. And again, like at first, not impressed. After thinking about it more and more, it kind of sunk in. So maybe it'll be the same for you. So that's that. Cool. Oh, we got to pick the winners. That's the last thing. So we're going to pick the winner right now, or not pick the winner, see who won based off of the votes. So number 1 had 1 vote for third, 2 votes for fourth, or for 4 stars, and 1 vote for 5. 2 did not do as well. 3 is a contender with a couple votes for 4 and 5 stars. Number 4 did okay. Number 5 had 2 votes for 5 stars and 1 vote for 4 stars. Number 6 had 3 votes for 4 stars and 1 for 5 stars. Number 7 was kind of in the middle. Number 8 did okay. Okay, the winner is number 5. What was number 5? Let's go back and take a look at that. Lowe's. Good job, Lowe's. We like your calculators. Apparently, it was really close, and I would say it was pretty darn even. So that's it for our webinar today. I hope you guys had fun with this experience. Again, we just wanted to showcase some cool stuff. We like looking at this stuff online. We hope you did too. If you like this one, send us a tweet on Twitter and let us know, or something like that, or give us a comment in the chat. We appreciate you. We're just always looking to provide value, and we hope you had a great day, and see you online. Anything else on your end, Alan?
No, thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see you online. Take care, guys.
See you online. Have a great day.